All right. The time is now 7:36, and I would like to call this meeting to order. We'll begin with a reading of our land acknowledgement by Ms. Kafka.
Akron Central School District acknowledges that we gather on the traditional lands of the Tonawanda Seneca Nation. We honor the contributions of the indigenous peoples past, present, and future with gratitude for the land as we continue to work together with a spirit of respect and understanding.
I'd ask everybody to rise and join me in the pledge to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The mission of the Akron Central School District, a learning-centered community dedicated to the dreams of our students, is to ensure that each student realizes his or her unique human potential and contributes positively to society through a system characterized by valuing the unique gifts and dreams of each person, developing all dimensions of each human being, advancing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom of each student, nurturing and respecting the dignity of each human being, cooperatively working to continuously create new realities. With that, we move on to agenda item number 2, which is a presentation from the Interact Club. Mr. McHale, Ms. Stone.
Good evening, I'm Marlene Stone. I am the field hockey and basketball and softball coach.
I am Matt McHale. I'm a math teacher here. I advise the GSA, and I am the Interact Advisor here at Akron.
So we are effectively marrying sports with Interact with many of our community-based service organizations with this trip. And this will be the 9th year that we will propose to take the trip to the Dominican Republic. We've settled into a really nice routine of going every other year with your permission, taking students. And at this moment, we have taken over 48 students on what is a 7-day immersion trip to the Dominican Republic, to a location in La Saona, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods in all of the Western Hemisphere. And the Catholic nuns began a school in this neighborhood to support nutrition. So it is now called the Elizabeth Seton Foundation and Nutrition Center. We are here asking permission to be able to take students again this year. And we would like to give you a little bit of quick history. The trip began in large part due to a response that we received from Mr. Dimitrov when the varsity softball team was looking for a place to donate some of the used softball equipment. And he did express that it had to be done correctly or out of the country. And so we did find somebody out of the country who would be able to accept this donation, and we collected, I believe it was 7,500 pounds of equipment, and we flew it down on a Air Force plane through the Department of Defense, and we were able to take it to this same community and start a girls softball league. And it was really, it was just wonderful. As a sports enthusiast, it didn't get much better. We came home, we said thank you. Much to our surprise, they called and said, would you come and do more work in our area? And it's really evolved because we've now done nutritional, educational, dental. Last year we did, 2 years ago with the students from Akron, we did the vision screening trip. And it's not just changing lives, it's changing their health and so their future. So the trip is primarily the same location. I think the most important thing is that we have the same partners. Every year we've gone, we use the same security team. This is most important when we have the students. We use the same travel partners. We have the same chaperone. We stay in the same location, and we do the work in the same neighborhood. We have assembled this team because they are trusted partners down there now. And the most remarkable part of the trip this year, with 3 Rotarians and 2 Lion members, was that we started to build a real relationship with the Lions Club and the Rotary clubs in this small community. They're very active. They have lots and lots of projects that they're very proud of. And what we did was host a luncheon, and I think 35 people showed up. And it was wonderful because we had lots of people who could help us with the translations. And we were able to talk about being able to partner on one of their projects in their community with our students this year. You know, so the metaphors are just great about how we bring together not just this community by using the schools, resources, the Akron Lady Lions Club, the Lions members, and our Rotarians, as well as a lot of the businesses and sponsors we get. But we're going to be able to take all of that sense of community down there and teach our students how to do something a world away for somebody else. And I think it's going to be fantastic. That all stays the same. What changes this year is our budget. As you'll see, maybe we'll get Matt to go through some of the slides. The history is all the same. That won't change. The objectives we'll get to. I would like to just kind of skip to the only change that we have this year is going to be our budget. As you might expect, it's increased by $300 this year. We've been able to get away with $2,500 every year, but airfare seems to be a real hurdle for us. And we've tried doing different things like group bookings, and it's just not, it's tough. So we are committed to not raising it. We have a team that will go out and get sponsorship and be able to support anything over that for students. But once we're given permission, if that happens, we'll get the kids together and they can start fundraising with their friends and family. And we did have one student on our last trip. His first name was Joe, and he simply put a bucket in front of his house, which is up near St. Teresa's, and he collected enough cans to go on the trip for free. And so it's something that they get real invested in. We'll plan to meet with them every month, right up leading up to it, and keep track of their payments and stuff like that. That's where really Interact comes in, meeting all the ideals, the trip objectives, and doing what's the hardest part is getting the kids organized for the trip. I'm gonna let Matt talk about the objectives.
I come in for the organization stuff. But kind of going back to the start of the meeting when we introduced some of the school district mission statements, we value the unique gifts of each individual. We do it in this building. This is a beautiful opportunity for kids to see kids their own age growing up in vastly different means, but learning how to value their gifts. Even though they have so much less, they have so much joy in the things that they do have. So we want our kids to kind of gain that new perspective. In advancing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom of each student, within these 4 walls, we can help provide the knowledge. They learn from videos, they learn from books, they learn from us, but wisdom is something that they really get from experience, and this is an experience like no other. They're going to see a completely different lifestyle, a completely different world, and the kids that we bring are going to come back changed, and they are going to have a new outlook on life. It's going to be an investment in them. They're going to be able to write about these things in college essays. They're going to become the future leaders of this community. So to be able to make that investment in them now, I think is going to have drastic impacts on the things that we do here. We've already been working a lot with the Rotary Club this year. They've seen some of the things that we've done. We've been able to raise over 1,000 items that we were able to send down to Honduras earlier this year. And in working with the Rotary Club, they're seeing some of the things we're doing and they say, hey, if you include us, we can even do more. So we're really trying to teach the kids that if you have a good heart, if you are willing to work hard, and you could get enough people together on a task, you can kind of do anything. That's what a lot of this project, a lot of this trip is trying to do. It also aligns with a lot of UN Sustainable Development Goals in trying to provide the health, the safety, the nutrition, clean water, no poverty, zero hunger, everything they're trying to do there, down there at the nutrition center in the school. Some of the past projects have been security ones of installing security walls and security cameras. Some have just been helping to maintain the well, so they do have clean water that a lot of people in the community utilize. Some of the tasks that our kids are going to be working on this year is really just to kind of revitalize their classrooms. They're going to be doing a lot of painting projects. They're going to be helping to kind of organize this whole just supply room. They do get a lot of donations and a lot of help, but it just gets piled in boxes and shoved in a corner where our kids are really going to be able to go in, help organize building shelves, creating a system, so that these resources don't just sit in boxes, they get used and applied to try to benefit everyone. So it's really things that are in the kids' wheelhouse. If it's not, they're going to learn very quickly how to help build some of these structures. Every day starts with team breakfasts, the plan for the day. Every day ends with team dinners and just leadership meetings where we talk about what did you see today? What did you learn today? What impacted you today? And we're really going to be learning from each other in the whole process and just kind of growing as individuals. Also, this is my first time on the trip. For the itinerary, as you can see, every morning we're starting off together. We will be working on some of those community service projects within the nutrition center, working on some of their capital improvement projects. There will be opportunities for kids to see stuff outside the nutrition center. They'll be taking a tour of salt mines and checking out a beach one evening to kind of cool off and relax after a hard day's work. There are tours of fish hatcheries and there are baseball games. So there will be some opportunities for them to be kids and kind of bond together. But the bulk of it is they are down there, they are working, they are growing, and they're seeing literally the fruits of their labor. They're going to be helping to plant trees and a small orchard to help out this community. So every day is going to be packed with giving back, and they are going to be getting back a little bit throughout the whole trip as well. May I turn it over?
Sure. I mean, I think that is one of the greatest parts of the trip, beyond the service, is that it is educational. We take them to one of the oldest parts of Santo Domingo, where Columbus first landed before he came to our East Coast, and they get to get the tours. We also have a chocolate factory we're planning to attend this year. So they're kids. We definitely like to make it fun as well. The team is right now on board, myself, Patty Buckley, who has attended 5 years, Mr. McHale, my husband Kevin, who is a Rotarian, has attended every year. This will be his 9th. He does provide great security. That is his profession. And then our 2 members on boots on the ground down there is Esther and Jasmine, both fluent in English and Dominican, and they chaperone us and take good care of us.
As we go through, with your permission, if we are to be approved for this trip, we will be notifying the students and talking to them, having a club meeting, and then really starting kind of like a selection process. Typically in the past, some years there have been 8 kids who have gone. Some years there may have been 10 who have gone. We try to keep the number relatively small so it is manageable. But if we have phenomenal kids applying, we will see however many we can try to accommodate within that. But typically it's been anywhere from 6 to 8, 6 to 10 for the kids that we take down. For the application process, we do ask kids to try to go through a rather rigorous application. They need 3 recommendations. It could be from teachers, coaches, advisors. They need to write 1 personal statement prompt. And when they apply, we do ask that they, because it is a high cost for the trip, to be able to provide the $500 deposit, just to show that they are going to kind of start raising families on board. We'll be able to communicate with them on what is expected. We have a whole kind of parent packet that we can send out of these are the expected dates, these are the kind of benchmarks of when certain payments are due. I will be working with a lot of the kids and planning several fundraisers. I've been talking to Christine O'Malley from last year on different ideas that I can do within the community, within the school district, and things on how there can be outreach of people trying to sponsor kids. I myself am not a very tangible things person. Shopping for Christmas or birthdays for me is miserable. But this is one thing where I'd be like, and if you are someone who's going to get a gift from me, don't put $30 towards sponsoring so-and-so. If we are able to raise funds through that, having like a sponsorship thing, some of our group photos that we get, we can bring back, have kids sign and kind of get back out to sponsors to say, hey, this is the impact that you had half a world away. Your $30 sent 8 kids to go make a difference and change lives in a community that really, really needed it. So we've got ideas on what we can do. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, the next slide is about security. It is probably the most important slide, and this one we've developed over all 9 years to make better and better. It first started out with the 2 full-time interpreters. Then we added a driver who also is in charge of our security. We do talk with the local Rotary and the Lions Clubs down there, and we get them to come around to different locations with us so that there are people who are very familiar with the areas and so on. We are very clear with the kids. They are never to be alone. We always stay as a group. The hotel is secured. We check all the points of entry when we are there the first evening. Everything is locked. Rooms are checked every night. We have a very firm curfew. We do register with the embassy, and we do ask them to do an online, it's a U.S. citizen site, to make sure that they have all the information necessary if there were to be a hurricane or some weather event, ways for us to be in touch with everybody here. So, you know, we've been taking these steps and building it every year to make it better and better, and I really do think we have it in place now. We hope we never need it, but it's certainly there. The center where we do all the work and we spend all our days is completely enclosed now, has full concrete walls, which most of the kids in this community have built, all the way around, which is mostly like a 2-acre block, and then above that is all razor wire. So we are all day very secure. You know, the last slide really is about when we do get the students onboarded, they have payment schedules, meeting schedules. We have a handbook of rules that we have adopted and worked really hard on, and we make sure that disciplinary actions, you know, are in the handbook. If there is to be a problem, we will take care of it. We make it very clear from the start. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you so much for your presentation and for all the work that you do. I know it takes a tremendous amount of time and planning. I've had the privilege of seeing you present about the trip in multiple venues, and one of the things that always comes across is how passionate all those who are involved are in the work and the lifelong lessons that our students learn from participation. So just thank you for all of your efforts and providing these incredibly unique, meaningful opportunities for our kids. And if there's no objections from the board, we will have this on our next board agenda for formal consideration.
Thank you very much. for
Thank
your
you so much.
information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on then, our next agenda item, hearing of individuals and delegations. I do have a pink card, but that will be addressed in a moment. So, I do not have any other pink cards, but in regards, we'll move on to committee reports. And with that, first committee report is Recreation Board with Ms. Kea, Mr. Sina, but I would like to open the floor up to Mr. Mutter, who is here as a representative of the Newstead Town Board, to give us a little bit of an update in regards to the recreation.
Good evening. So what we did is, on the rec board, we disbanded the rec board this year. We are going to rebuild the board. It got kind of stale. We had a couple issues. What we did is we made a director and assistant director position now instead of just one director. We are here community-based. There's over 410 individuals signed up for the rec board, which is a large undertaking for one person. So what we did is we made an assistant director, which is Robert Isidorzek, and they are going to show up here a couple times a year, and along will come into the town board. We are going to rebuild an advisory board with some new criterias and give everybody some new job duties. And I want to bounce off what you guys said earlier. You guys are bringing back home ec, debate and stuff like that. Some of these kids are bringing up some new stuff that us older people are not familiar with, games and stuff like that. We opened up pickleball this year, so we need some fresh blood on there along with some older people to revamp the board. There's a whole bunch of new impressive kids that are writing letters, and I can't believe we got that much community support after this. So that's all we're looking to do. Hopefully within the next 9 months, we get a new 5-person board and the director and assistant director. So I just wanted to fill you guys in what we did, where we're going, and hopefully what the future of it is. Seeing we do utilize the school for 99% of the recreation department. Do you guys have any questions?
Will this impact summer activities for the kids?
I'm sorry.
Will this impact summer activities for the kids?
Nope,
in the
summer activities, that's already set.
community? Okay.
I know Dan and Bo are both working on the fall activities. Can't say we're gonna have a board by then. I would like to, but that's a whole bunch of stuff to get some people together and throw into the mix. So I believe it's gonna run, hopefully next spring is when we're looking to revamp everything. It's gonna take us a good 9 months. So we just don't wanna rush into it.
Mr. Mutter, would there be an opportunity for board members to support in a liaison role? Or how do you see the school being able to partner, collaborate with the rec board?
I believe Dan and Bo are going to, don't quote me on this, but I think quarterly they're gonna come to your meetings. And I'm not sure how Dan does it now, but he does set up what days he can use and whatnot.
I meet with Dan.
So he's still gonna do that. He's gonna include Bo, but I believe they have to come quarterly to your meetings. This way we're staying transparent, and we gotta keep the lines of communication open, which we haven't done in a lot of years. But especially with your building projects going on this year, we know we're limiting to 4 days, I think it is, or shutting it down a little early, 2 weeks early. So they are gonna continue with what they're doing right now. As far as the advisory board, they're gonna be there to back up the 2 directors.
It was the swim program that needed to end a little bit early due to some work being done in our pool.
Okay.
The expansion joints.
They did bring that up. They are, like I said, we're in the works trying to get them to come every other month to the town board. So we're all working together. Anything else?
No,
Right,
we appreciate the fact that, I know, we had a crew that came and presented to the town board in regards to the budget presentation. So thank you for sitting in again on the same presentation. But, at the same point too, I know that, trying to work collaboratively both between our school board and the town board. I know the rec program serves the a mass majority of the kids here within the district. I know that the workers are students from the district, so it's a great opportunity for all the kids to participate in. So, yeah, anything that we can do to further assist the town board in development and collaborating, we look forward to that opportunity.
Great. No, thank you guys much, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Anything to add, Ms. Kay, Mr. Sina? Okay. ECASB delegate, Ms. Kafka, Mr. Sina?
Nothing to report?
Nope, the last meeting was 2 weeks ago, so we're all good for the year now.
Okay. ECASB legislative, Ms. Pidgeotto and myself, there's been no meeting. We're done for the year as well. They do have a couple meetings set up for over the summer to coordinate efforts for advocacy in the fall. ECASB budget and finance, Mr. Kenline?
Our work for the year is done. We won't meet again until next fall.
Okay. Indigenous Committee, Ms. Kafka?
So we do have a meeting tomorrow, but at our last meeting, discussion around moving forward with the Seneca language teachers job position posting. Discussed some policy and procedures regarding ICE involvement, if that was to ever happen in the future, and future field trips that are coming up.
So in regards to the Seneca language position, that position is partially grant funded and then partially district funded. It's a position that we've carried in the budget now for the second year. We've been working collaboratively with the nation to develop the criteria around what that position would look like, and then working together to make sure that we had a teacher with the correct qualifications to teach the courses in the middle school.
WNED BPO, Ms. Pidgeotto.
Nothing to report from the Philharmonic. From PBS, their funding has been cut by executive order, so the Ready to Learn programs, your Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Super Y, all of these programs I know we've all heard of our kids using, as well as the Ready to Learn media resource that is available for K through 12 teachers to use in classrooms is also, cut as of now. They are asking for protectmypublicmedia.org has letters for representatives that you can sign on to and a petition to stop this budget cut. I encourage anybody who has made use of these programs to check that out and to sign on to that. This is a big loss to the learning community.
Thank you. Policy Advisory Committee, Ms. Kay.
Nothing to report. Our next meeting will be Monday. All the policies that are for first reading on tonight's agenda were reviewed last time, and they were all policies that have very minimal changes.
One of the things that you'll notice on the agenda is internet-enabled devices or cell phones. Hot off the presses, we received from BOCES of New York State some more detailed information related to the enacted budget, which would require school districts to adopt a written policy prohibiting students from using internet-enabled devices on school grounds during the day no later than August 1st of 2025. And it must include, prior to adopting the policy, must include local stakeholders to be consulted with, employees, labor unions, as well as representatives from each of the buildings impacted, parents and students. And that policy must be clearly visible and accessible on our website by that date. So we have it on the agenda to start the conversation as to what our decision-making process would look like around it, as well as an opportunity to dive into some of the possible exceptions that have been identified. That includes authorization from a teacher, principal, school district for a specific educational purpose. When it's used, the cell phone is used to manage student health care on a case-by-case basis for student caregivers, as well as some other pieces related to students with 504 plans or IEPs, but much more conversation to be had. Any decision that is made, we want to make sure that we're working collaboratively with our school community and hearing those voices in the development of a policy.
Capital project, Ms. Fidget or myself, we have an upcoming meeting. But as mentioned earlier in the presentation, the first phase of the capital project is well underway. The second phase has gone out, is back from bidding, and those initial conversations are underway for finalization. Anything else to add? Okay. Diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, Ms. Kafka, Ms. Pidgeotto.
Nothing to report.
The last meeting that I went to was basically just discussion on how to get more people, involved into participation. I think the biggest issue is the time that the committee meets, is 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes that's a little difficult for members of the community to participate. So I think that's the biggest hurdle. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Very well, thank you. With that, agenda item 5, superintendent's report.
Just wanted to start by saying last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge and recognize all of our teachers who truly understand that their work with kids is a calling, and recognize that when parents send us their kids, they're sending us their entire world, and they take that job very seriously. It's not an easy job, but it is a fantastic job, a wonderful job, and we're so incredibly appreciative of our teachers in our district, as well as those teachers who happen to be sitting on our school board, too. Happy Appreciation Week to you as well. I also have some more good news. I have the honor of presenting Ms. K.A. with a NYSBA Board of Excellence Recognition Award. So this award is for Mrs. K.A. for her ongoing leadership and professional development around being a board member. So I wanted to hand this to you and say congratulations. Thank you. You are welcome. I know it's a tremendous amount of time and effort, and we definitely appreciate all that you do, so thank you. We will be holding a district-wide evacuation drill on Monday, May 19th. That information did go home to parents today. And the drill is part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen our emergency response procedures in collaboration with emergency personnel. I wanted to thank Mr. Alexander for his leadership in the planning of this drill, along with our administrative team. He's been working very closely with Dan Kowalik on the planning and implementation. So some of the key details related to the drill: it will last approximately 90 minutes, including round-trip transportation. Students will return to school and resume their normal schedule after the drill. We are asking that no private vehicles be allowed at the relocation site, and teachers will review procedures with students, and attendance will be closely monitored, and support staff will be available to assist if needed. We will also be starting the process of simulating some reunification exercises. That is the next step in our emergency response planning related to evacuation drills. And these simulations will help our staff practice the protocols required if we should ever need to evacuate and then reunite students with their families during a real emergency. So again, part of our ongoing efforts to practice our plans to make sure that they go smoothly in the event that we should need to implement in reality. And that is the conclusion of my superintendent's report.
Thank you. Agenda item 6 are board policy and development. You can see there A through I, they're all first readings, as Ms. K.A. indicated. Agenda item 7, personnel. The recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve personnel items, consent items 7A through 7J.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Kenline.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sina. There's enough to go around.
Yeah, there is. I'll get the next one.
Such a gentleman.
Any questions or board discussion? I see the motion passes.
And Brittany is here this evening. We'd like to congratulate Brittany. And Mr. D, would you mind introducing Brittany to our board?
Brittany Bethany, she actually was with our district 2 years ago. She did an internship at the elementary school, so she did tremendously well in our interview. She obviously just a kid advocate and is going to fit excellent in the high school and really take our guidance department to that next level. So we're really proud and excited to get Brittany on board July 1st. So welcome, Brittany.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to join that.
Welcome, Brittany. And then I also just wanted to mention that we are sad that Ms. Reedhart's resignation is on the agenda this evening. She has done an absolutely tremendous job for us, and we are very sad to see her go, but obviously support her in her next adventure. So thank you to Renee.
Thank you. Moving on then to agenda item 8, district items. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve district items, consent items 8A through 8K.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. K.
Second.
Second, Ms. Cuff. Any questions or board discussion? That motion passes. Moving on, agenda item 9, financial reports. It is the recommended action, the Akron Central School Board of Education approve the financial reports for April 2025 as submitted by the district treasurer, Susan Brewer.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Pidgeotto.
Second.
Second to Mr. Kenline.
With that hair behind.
Yeah. I was like Jeopardy with that buzzer.
We're not used to having opportunities.
Yeah,
That's the
right?
problem.
Next meeting, we should draw chips.
And that agenda item passes. Agenda item number 10, special education. It is the recommended action, the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve special education items, consent item 10A and 10B.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Pidgeotto, seconded Mrs. K. And that item passes. Moving on to a board discussion, agenda item 11. Board discussion in regards to the student ex officio. Anything to start with?
Sure. I just wanted to take a moment to summarize some of the conversations that have been had in regards to this issue, and to make sure that our committee, our Policy Advisory Committee, has the information to go into our next meeting. In summary, some of the feedback that I've heard from students, as well as through conversation around this board table, included an application process for students. Students could be in student government or not in student government, vetted through principals and teachers, and then final candidates would meet with the board for potential selection, I think was the last I had heard, but I want to make sure that I have the information from the board and how you would like to proceed.
Sure. I know Ms. Kay had shared with the board those 3 different items from different school districts. I do like the idea in regards to an application, so it is an open process. So it isn't just for one particular student, but this way we may be able to garner the input and participation of a student that may be interested specifically in this sort of environment. I do like that once the applications are there, then that way I do think a administrative review and selection for an interview as like a 3rd step. I think it's very practical in that sort of manner, just from the standpoint that if you were applying for a job, it'd be the same thing. You'd be putting in an application. Have it be reviewed for its credibility and viability, and then you'd go through an interview process to allow them to review you for your final position. So I think that would be a great way to approach it. I do
agree.
think, I do know with the secondary, the other comment was that I know the student government had made a suggestion, and I would support that in regards to having a primary and an alternate, just from the standpoint that if somebody was unable to present in one aspect, they would be able to kind of carry that load collectively. I think that would be a good benefit as well.
I was just going to say the recommendations from the Student Advisory Committee, everything looked spot on with that. I agree with all the recommendations, and I would definitely support that.
One of the things that the students had mentioned that were part of my superintendent's advisory council is that they liked the idea of the members being a liaison to the other building. So a member being assigned to the elementary school, a member being assigned to the middle school, to meet with the principals, to meet with the principal advisory committees in those buildings, and then be able to share that student voice and perspective as well at the meetings, which I thought was pretty insightful.
Could they expand that to meet with the, like, with the student governments in the middle school?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yep.
That would get
I like
some
that.
additional input from, the different levels, if you will.
Yep.
Have we considered, and I know we haven't really talked about it too much because it's been a, kind of figure it out yourself thing, but a Native American student to represent as well. I think that might be something to consider to bring them to the table and have that voice. I know we've had that discussion previously, how that could be incorporated, and this might be a way.
Good delegate.
Do you think the thing to bear in mind is, since this is something that is new for us, and it is something that is, as you pointed out, Ms. Pidgeottor, the trial by fire. So to come up with, I think that initially starting off with whatever it is, then to Mr. Kenline's point, I think trying to take whatever it is that however I think if we focus on the selection process, get the people in place, and then I think from there we can kind of generate the job description. And it is kind of a very similar to our policies. It's a active, living, breathing scenario. So as we go through, we can develop either what those relationships need to be, if we need to develop something where there's representation, from all different facets. So whether it be through student government, through Native American community, those sorts of things can be, I think, facilitated within that guideline. But initially starting off with the initial structure and then kind of honing it into what those roles are. I think that's the great way that we can go through and kind of create those positions, get that input, whether it be through the buildings and.
Mr. D, do you have any additional input for us, recommendations? I know you've been having many conversations with students as well, and we want to make sure their voice is represented too.
No, I support the application process. I think it's a good idea. If you're truly interested in devoting time, to meet, twice a month, and have that as part of their experience, then that's great. So,
I will also say thank you very much for, I know we initially kind of stepped into it from the standpoint, you presented and you had student government come in and present, and it's been an ongoing process. So, your patience and understanding and working and collaboration, I think, is what ultimately we're trying to come through with. And what I'm happy with is that the input that we've had has been geared more toward each time that we open the opportunity for the students to address their voice. They've come through, and I think that's kind of been a little bit more of the directive that has gone through. So
Yeah, they're excited
I think
about
that
it.
I think
Yep.
that's a sort of consistency between whether it be new programming or whatever else. I like the fact that if it's student driven, I think we'll be far more successful than if it's just something where we kind of roll through it from a board's perspective or. So anything else that you need?
No.
Okay. Board discussion in regards to Board of Ed and superintendent evaluation. Those, I believe, I know the superintendent's is up. I have to check on the Board of Education. What I'd ask you to do is for our next meeting on the 28th, we'll make sure that those are both live. If you can go through and complete those in that
Yep,
time period.
Yep, they are both live. I know some of you have been pretty busy already, so thank you for those that have participated. Just more of a gentle reminder. If you could take a look by our next board meeting, that would be greatly appreciated.
What we can do is again, similarly, the way that those operate is upon completion from the individual board members in both of those aspects, what ends up happening is I'll take a look at it once everybody has had the opportunity to complete each one of those. What it will do is it will cycle through and join those answers so that we'll get a cumulative report as to where we were, where we are, and then a summation of the different comments that were shared by each individual for both applications. So if we can complete those, we can get that summation done shortly and then be able to review it at the next. But I will send out a reminder for those to be completed. Likewise, at the next meeting, I know we've had some conversation here. We'll have a little bit more direction from the standpoint that we'll have the budget vote. We'll also have the results of the election to start discussing in regards to what our goals were this year, where we thought things kind of played out, and then maybe have a discussion as to what we see going forward as goals for ourselves as the board, so that we can kind of work those in with reorganization and then giving some direction to the superintendent for the upcoming year so that she can implement those goals in strategically working with admin to roll those out at the various levels. Is there any other discussion that anybody has? Seeing none. Agenda item 12, school board correspondence. Tuesday, June 3rd and Saturday, June 7th is the Governance and Performance Accountability Training, Erie 1 BOCES, from 6 to 8 and 8 to 12. Thursday, June 12th, ECASB Annual Dinner and Meeting and Awards Dinner at Clocks Grove, beginning at 5:15. Please see Ms. James tonight for registration. Tuesday, June 24th and Saturday, June 28th is Fiscal Oversight Training, Erie 1 BOCES, 5:15 to 8:15 and 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Friday, August 1st and Saturday, August 2nd, NYSBA Leadership and Education, Crown Plaza. Please see Ms. James for registration. I do believe we have a couple people that are interested in that. Upcoming dates, Wednesday, May 14th, Senior Center Budget Roadshow, beginning at 11:45. Wednesday, May 14th, Chamber of Commerce Roadshow at 6 p.m. Thursday, May 15th, Scholastic Achievement Recognition Dinner at Salvatore's. Monday, May 19th, Board of Education Meet the Candidates Forum. It is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters. It will be here in the high school cafeteria beginning at 6 p.m. Tuesday, May 20th, Annual Budget Vote and Board Member Elections in Gym 3, the Orange Gym, up at the top of the high school parking lot, beginning at 12 p.m. through 9 p.m. Again, those eligible to vote for that is anybody that is living within the school district. If you have any questions, you can review the district map there. So just because it's a little confusing, it's within the district, it's not within your legislative districts. So that does carry into parts of Niagara County and other towns, so as long as you're a resident within the district. Tuesday, May 20th, district-wide art show, front foyer, main hallways, beginning at 5 p.m. through 9 p.m. Also that same evening is the elementary spring concert, beginning at 7 p.m. Through 8:30 p.m. in the auditorium. Wednesday, May 28th is our next regular business meeting here in the high school cafeteria, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Any other dates? Then agenda item 14 is executive session. We do have the recommended action is a motion to go into executive session for discussions on negotiations and employment history of a particular person.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Pidgeotto.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sina. The motion carries. We are in executive session as of 8:28 p.m. We do not intend on conducting any business following the executive session. We thank everybody who presented. We also thank everybody in attendance, both here in the cafeteria and online. As always, any questions or concerns, please bring those to the